Welcome to our video today where we'll be discussing the Sinaloa Cartel, one of the most notorious criminal organizations in the world. From its humble beginnings in the Mexican state of Sinaloa, the cartel has risen to become a powerful force in the global drug trade. Today we'll be exploring the history of the cartel, its leadership, and its impact on society. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of the Sinaloa Cartel. The beginning of Sinaloa Cartel. The state of Sinaloa has long been a center for contraband in Mexico, as well as a home for marijuana and poppy cultivation. Nearly all of the trafficking organizations in Mexico have their origins in the region. They were, in essence, a small group of farming families that lived in rural parts of the state. In the 1960s and 1970s, they moved from the contraband trade into drugs, particularly marijuana. One of the first to traffic marijuana in bulk was Pedro Aviles, who later brought his friend's son, Joaquin Guzman Loera, alias El Chapo, into the business. Aviles was killed in a shootout with police in 1978. In the latter part of the 1970s, the various families branched into moving cocaine for Colombian and Central American traffickers and shifted their operations to Guadalajara, in the state of Jalisco. Their leaders included Rafael Caro Quintero, Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, and Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo. Working closely with the Honduran Juan Ramon Mata Ballesteros, the men came into contact with Colombia's Medellin cartel. Mata Ballesteros lived part-time in Colombia, where he operated as the main intermediary between Mexican and Colombian traffickers, particularly the Medellin and Guadalajara cartels. They established the patterns that we see repeated today: movement of bulk shipments of cocaine via airplane and boat to Central America and Mexico, then by land routes into the United States. The boldness of the Mexican traffickers became evident when they murdered Undercover Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, agent Enrique Camarena in 1985. Power. The Sinaloa Cartel is one of the most powerful and influential criminal organizations in the world. It is estimated that the cartel controls up to 35% of the illegal drug trade between Mexico and the United States. The cartel has a vast network of operatives and associates across Mexico and the United States, and is known for its brutal tactics and willingness to use violence to maintain its power. The Sinaloa Cartel is also known for its ability to corrupt law enforcement officials and politicians. Over the years, the cartel has been accused of bribing government officials and police officers in order to protect its operations. In 2019, it was revealed that the cartel had paid a $100 million bribe to former Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto in exchange for protection and immunity from prosecution. Murders. The death of Camarena was the beginning of the end of the Guadalajara cartel. U.S. pressure forced Mexican authorities to act, and the leaders of the cartel fled. The remaining factions established bases in various parts of Mexico. The Arellano Felix brothers set up camp in Tijuana. The Carrillo Fuentes family moved to Juarez. El Chapo and his partner, Hector Luis Palma Salazar, remained in the Sinaloa area. The battles between these organizations began almost immediately. In November 1992, El Chapo sent 40 gunmen to raid a Tijuana cartel party in Puerto Vallarta, killing 9 people. The Tijuana cartel responded by trying to assassinate El Chapo at the Guadalajara airport in 1993, killing a Mexican cardinal instead. El Chapo fled to Guatemala, where he was arrested 2 weeks later. Palma Salazar was arrested in 1995. The operations remained under the auspices of El Chapo's brother Arturo Loera, Ramon Lailla Serrano, and Hector Alfredo and Arturo Beltran Leyva. El Chapo maintained some control from prison, passing messages through his lawyers. In 2001, he escaped prison and assumed a central leadership role in the organization. Chapo was famously recaptured, then escaped from prison, then recaptured in Mexico once again in 2016, only adding to his criminal legend. Corruption. At the government level, the Sinaloa Cartel has been known to bribe politicians and public officials to gain protection and avoid prosecution. The cartel has also been known to use violence and intimidation to control local governments in areas where it operates. In some cases, cartel members have even been elected to public office, allowing them to use their positions to further their criminal activities. In the law enforcement sector, the Sinaloa Cartel has been able to infiltrate and corrupt police and military units. Cartel members have been known to offer large sums of money to police officers and soldiers in exchange for their cooperation. This has allowed the cartel to carry out its operations with little interference from law enforcement. In the private sector, the Sinaloa Cartel has been known to use legitimate businesses as a front for its criminal activities. The cartel has been known to launder money through legitimate businesses, such as restaurants and hotels, to conceal the true source of its income. The cartel has also been known to use its financial power to coerce businesses into cooperating with its activities. Overall, the corruption of the Sinaloa Cartel has allowed it to maintain its power and influence in Mexico and beyond. Until the Mexican government takes serious measures to root out corruption at all levels, it is unlikely that the Sinaloa Cartel will be defeated. In January 2017, El Chapo was extradited to the United States. His recapture and extradition has sparked a wave of violence due to internal power struggles within the Sinaloa Cartel and efforts from other criminal groups to expand their operations in the Capo's absence. Since then, there has been an internal power struggle between Ismael Zambada Garcia, alias El Mayo, and El Chapo's sons, known as Los Chapitos. While the Sinaloa Cartel remains under the leadership of Zambada Garcia, its local bosses have broad decision-making power, which makes it difficult to estimate how much of an overall toll this violence has had on the group. In 2020, divisions between Los Chapitos and El Mayo appeared to worsen, with a number of deadly clashes reported between their supporters, as well as the mysterious assassination of a former top Sinaloa Cartel hitman. In contrast, El Mayo's sons have either all been arrested and jailed in the United States or seem to be lying low. Allies and enemies. The Sinaloa Cartel's central bond is blood. Many of its members are related by birth or by marriage. However, the cartel also often acts more like a federation than a tightly knit organization. The core of the group, the BLO, split from the rest in 2008. The Sinaloa Cartel has since created new alliances with former enemies in the Gulf Cartel and the Familia Michoacana, and appears to have negotiated a pact with what remains of the Tijuana Cartel. The Sinaloa Cartel seems to have taken its cue from Colombia's Cali Cartel by establishing strong connections to Mexico's political and economic elite. It has successfully penetrated government and security forces wherever it operates. It often opts for the bribe over the bullet and alliances over fighting. But it is not above organizing its forces to overrun areas that it wants to control by force. The cartel's most powerful contacts have traditionally been in the National Action Party, Partido Acción Nacional, PAN, which, according to some sources, helps account for its growth in the last decade. The PAN's Vicente Fox and Felipe Calderón launched numerous offensives against trafficking organizations, and some major leaders have been captured, including Ociel Cardenas Guillen, head of the Gulf Cartel, and Benjamin Arellano Felix, head of the Tijuana Cartel. So strong is the perception that the PAN favors the Sinaloa Cartel that Mexican justice officials issued a press release in 2010 denying it, while the Calderón government produced a video in 2011 with the same intention. Prospects. In recent years, the Sinaloa Cartel has become embroiled in a series of violent turf wars. In 2012, the cartel emerged victorious from a bloody battle with the Juarez Cartel over control of Ciudad Juarez. However, the war with rival cartel the Zetas, who in some regions have allied themselves with the remnants of the BLO, has spread across the country and raged through the states of Sinaloa, Durango, Coahuila, Nuevo León, and Jalisco, even reaching into Guatemala. The upper hand in the conflict has ebbed and flowed throughout the regions, but with the Zetas an increasingly fragmented force, the Sinaloa Cartel seems poised to cement its position as the dominant force in the Mexican underworld. Even with El Chapo in jail for life, the Sinaloa Cartel has remained one of Mexico's most powerful organized crime groups. However, the days of big cartels in Mexico may be numbered. As the country's criminal landscape continues to grow more fragmented, it's unclear if and how traditional cartels will be forced to adapt. In conclusion, The Sinaloa Cartel is one of the most powerful and dangerous criminal organizations in the world. The cartel is responsible for a significant amount of the illegal drug trade between Mexico and the United States, and is known for its willingness to use violence and corruption to maintain its power. The Sinaloa Cartel has been involved in a number of high-profile conflicts and corruption cases over the years, and its influence continues to be felt throughout the region. So that's all for today's video. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe to my channel and smash the like button. We will see you in the next video.